Swarna Bharat Parivar, after setting many records in the world, achieved another milestone in the process of creating new dimensions. Took another commendable step in the service of the society, which is not only making the future of the people, but also making their dreams come true. The purpose of Swarna Bharat Parivar is to fulfill the dreams of such people who have never got any stage in life. Swarna Bharat Parivar fulfills their dreams by helping such people to reach their goals of life. Swarna Bharat family created another record in Jaipur, a city called Pink City, 280 kilometers away from the country's capital Delhi. On the soil of Rajasthan, the Swarna Bharat family honored more than 200 people in different fields. Through International Internship University, Swarna Bharat Parivar has given standard titles to 56 people for their special works. To commemorate the birthday of Ma Roshni Lal Ji, which is celebrated on 8th August, scholarship of Rs 1 lakh was given to 21 students in the convocation event held on 28th July 2021 under Ma Roshni Lal International Scholarship Scheme. These scholarships plays a very crucial role in boosting the morale of students and fuels them up to learn more.
आज का प्रोग्राम बेसिकली 3 चीज़ों पे निर्भर है। ज़रूरतमंदों को एजुकेशन कैसे दी जाए, एजुकेशन कैसे दिया जाए। वर्चुअल एजुकेशन सिस्टम आप लोगों ने नोटिस किया होगा, देखा होगा कि कोविड की महामारी कुछ नए अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ लेके आई हुई है, उसमें से वर्चुअल एजुकेशन है। तो वर्चुअल एजुकेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट हम लोग लेकर आए हैं, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर लेकर आए हैं और 195 कंट्रीज़ में रन कर रहे हैं। भारत देश का एक को फाउंडर है, जैसे कि आप लोग मुझसे मुखातिब हैं पहले से ही, कि पीयूष पंडित को फाउंडर की गिनती में आते हैं आपके IIU यूनिवर्सिटी के। और ऐसे ही ऑस्ट्रेलिया के हमारे को फाउंडर्स हैं, वहाँ से काम कर रहे हैं। काम करते करते पता नहीं चल रहा है कि ये कितनी तेज़ी से विकसित हो रहा है। इसमें कोविड का कुछ लोगों का हाथ मानना है ऐसा, लेकिन मैं इस बात से इत्तेफाक नहीं रखता हूँ। कोविड होने के बाद भी वर्चुअल एजुकेशन सिस्टम बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से चलेगा। इसके पीछे एक सीधी सी वजह है कि वट एवर यू वॉन्ट टू लर्न टुडे, आप तुरंत पा सकते हैं उसको एक क्लिक पे। ये एजुकेशन का जो सिस्टम है कि आपको कहीं जाके एडमिशन लेना, फिर आपको उसकी डिग्री मिलना, ख़त्म हो गया है। मैसिव ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज एक ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट है, मूक टेक्नोलॉजी, जिसके माध्यम से आप इंटायर वर्ल्ड की किसी भी एजुकेशन सिस्टम को फॉलो कर सकते हैं। चाहे आप कैम्ब्रिज से आप कोई कोर्स कर सकते हैं, चाहे ऑक्सफोर्ड से कर सकते हैं या IIU से कर सकते हैं। आपको पता होना चाहिए कि मैसिव ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज पे करीब
Hello. Do I begin?
Alka, please, can you wait? Some people can come in yet, please. Miss Rashna is first and she can't.
Just a moment.
Let's wait a little.
All right. So do we begin?
You can start. But we have now 21 participants.
Okay, let me know when.
What is education? Books? Classes? Teachers? Schools? No. Education is not that. It's beyond this. Education is a term that we have grown up listening to since we were kids. Right from the beginning of childhood till this very moment, we have been surrounded by education and its need and importance. A luxury for the rich. A necessity for the bread earner. A dream for the underprivileged. An aspiration for the suppressed. A distant reality for the inaccessible. The primary objective of education is to impart knowledge. Education also has its fair share in building the thinking capacity of people's minds. Hence, education supplies people with knowledge and facts and also encourages them to integrate that acquired knowledge into practical and professional lives via necessary training. Education thus also plays a primary role in supporting the economic, social and cultural sector of a country. It's a way to change the future today. The current education system can make people easy to lead, but difficult to drive, is either all academic, all physical, all virtual or all costly. Also, it makes easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. We cannot win over the future by sabotaging our present with extreme disparity. Iiu takes great pride in saying that we're bridging the gaps in education system. We're not just academicians, but also practically oriented. We're not just limited to virtual classes, but also physical exposure. We do not dig a hole in the pockets of the students and their families. We're everything that traditional education hasn't been. Iiu has already implemented and promoting the MOOCs technology. When we talk about MOOCs technology, it stands for Massive, Open, Online Courses. The word massive is to be understood in the sense that 100,000 learners or more at the same time have open and equal opportunities to attend these courses. MOOCs are truly a tremendous technological leap, and what makes them so attractive is that they don't imply any cost to learners. Iiu has tied up with more than 100 universities to provide more than 10,000 courses to the students, free of cost, with the help of MOOCs technology. We're a revolution in the making, a wind of change. Education is much more charming and intriguing than the temptations of distractions unnecessary. Our education policymakers must look into the problem to make a better system which is more practical and provides hands-on learning to the students. Who are we? The International Internship University is a virtual university with state-of-the-art curriculum, real-life industry exposure, amazing student attention, learning-oriented resources, and most of all, a commitment to make the world a better place. Why do we exist? We exist to fulfill the necessity of the bread earner. We exist to help underprivileged achieve their dreams. We exist to fuel aspirations and accessibility. We exist to provide everyone the luxury of being capable of changing the world. We really do exist to ignite young minds and make them the torchbearers of tomorrow. For a better future. For the legacy of everyone who's left us. For the hope of everyone who's yet to come, and for the growth of everyone who walks this beautiful planet. We invite you to join our world-class educational team and platform with an altruistic dedication to creating the future. The change is so big that it would potentially impact millions across the world. Millions of children and youth around the world cannot wait any longer. Please join us in our effort to create the virtual learning generation of Iiu. We're Iiu, we're change. Welcome to our world, a new tomorrow.
So Nada, do we begin?
Yes, Olga, we can start. Yes.
All right, thank you. So, hello everyone, hola, aloha. Mabuhay, konnichiwa, bonjour, salam, namaste, zadra.
Done a lot of help to
Right.
people.
To our honorables, our gracious dignitaries, speakers, colleagues, friends, and everyone who has joined us this
We've got this,
lovely
on the
event.
university.
Now this is
We've got sustainable goals. So we're doing
May
a
I
worldwide event.
all of you to please mute yourselves. Why? Because the platform does not take all that sound. Thank you. Thank you. So I was welcoming all of you dignitaries, everybody. Today, welcome to the ISDG Conference 2021, organized by International Internship University. I am Alka Mahajan. I will be your moderator for the evening. I am an academician, a psychotherapist. I'm a talk show host, a radio and television personality, and a columnist. But more important, a lifelong learner. Well, we do hope that we all are going to be enjoying the event. We're going to be taking away a lot of learnings today. We're going to collaborate, deliberate, connect, share, and lots more. But before we begin all that, let's first start by invoking the blessings of the God Almighty so that we have a very successful event and so that all of us all over the globe are happy, healthy, safe, wise. So with that, may I request the team to please play the video. Thank you.
तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती सरस्वती भगवती
So wasn't that divine,
At the same time.
gentlemen? Brilliant. It felt so good, so soul stirring, and I think it set the tone for the evening for all of us today. Now, before we begin, I would like to take this opportunity to be introducing and talking to you about all the movers and shakers behind the scenes, the ones who are working hard for the success of the International Internship University. All the leaders, the magnificent people behind this magnum opus. So let me first of all introduce to you the SDG committee members. Well, they are Mr. Piyush Pandit, who is the co-founder and COO, Roshni Lal, the trustee of the International Internship University, Dr. Prachi Gaur, the country director and president, Training and Development India, Nada Ratkovic from Croatia, Dr. Pratibha Mishra from India. Then we have Dr. Satnam, co-founder UK for the IIU, Rabia Bhatia from India, Mona Angya, co-founder IIU Indonesia, Snigdha Kadam from India, Ruchi from India. Now, let me introduce to you the leadership team of IIU, Indonesia. All the audience.
Alka, I will unmute. I see.
Thank you so much, Nada. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for that little break. I also got muted. All right. So I was before all of you, Dr. Satnam, who's from the United Kingdom. She's the co-founder, vice president, honorary degrees council. We have Mr. Piyush Pandit, the co-founder, chief operating officer from India. We have Mr. Jack William, co-founder and director, humanity affairs, Paris, France. We have Nadil Bill, co-founder, Northeast Africa. Stephen V from Australia, he is the co-founder. Then let me introduce to you the President's Council. In the President's Council, we have Ms. Pratibha Mishra, President, International Advisory Council of IIU, India. Dr. Satnam, Vice President, Honorary Degrees Council, United Kingdom. Mr. Piyush Pandit, the co-founder from India. Mr. Jack William, co-founder, Paris, France. And now coming to the Advisory Council of IIU. So Mrs. Roshni Lal, who's a lifetime trustee of SPB Global, social activist. Then we have Dr. Parin Somani, independent academic scholar. Then we have Dr. Shali Mukherjee, Director of Education and Dean, Students Affairs from Adamas University. We have Mrs. Pratibha Mishra, President, International Advisory Council of IIU India. Mr. Indrajit Ghosh, Social Studies teacher. Mr. Arup K. Mukhopadhyay. He is the UNACCO Group of Schools, Imphal. Coming on, we have Dr. Shankar Goenka. He's the Chief Architect and Managing Director, India. Dr. Vijay Kumar and Shah, Country Head Advisory Board, IIU, and Dr. TP Shashi Kumar from India. Well, after having shared with you the impressive and impactful people who are working so hard 24/7 for this prestigious project, IIU, let me tell you exactly what IIU does. They say that life is an unending journey, of learning. The more we learn, the more we grow, the more we evolve as individuals. And I think it is actually a brilliant thing. The more we connect, the more we communicate, the more we collaborate, the more we share and deliberate, the more we learn. So, this IIU, the magnum opus International Internship University, it is building a better and brighter future for all young learners all over the globe and committed to provide better and virtual education to all the young learners internationally. It is metamorphosing the conventional education system by cutting down the educational costs and providing access to more than 10,000 courses and internships in 5 countries and 6 continents throughout the year, with over 150 offices around the world. International Internship University is united in our commitment to provide exclusively free education to all the children and to the youth of this world under this global hub. IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organization, which is WEO, and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online courses, MOOC. IIU is providing various certificate, diploma, graduation, post-graduation, diploma, post-graduation courses, and honorary doctorates. It has received many accreditations as per international standards for their innovation, their vision, creative ideas, research, white papers publication, as well as national patents. Now talking about SDGs, let me throw some light on this. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Thus, IIU invites all the interested stakeholders, innovative SDG leaders, schools, colleges, universities, organizations, government and non-government organizations for goal-wise deliverables. We will be witnessing the plethora of ideas and knowledge delivered in 5 languages by 500 plus experienced speakers from all over the globe, change makers, and will become a part, all of us will become a part of this historic conference showcasing the SDG goals aligned with the 5 pillars. By the end, I'm sure that all of us will have gained new competencies and tactics that we could put into action right away. Now, coming to the goal that we're going to be discussing today, that we're going to be deliberating upon today, and for which we have a lineup, a host of eminent panelists from all across the globe. They say that if there's no water, there's no life, no blue, no green. We will be discussing SDG Goal 6, clean water and sanitation for all. Ensure availability and sustainable management by water and sanitation for all, because water is priceless. Plans to protect air and water, wilderness and wildlife are in fact plans to protect mankind. Well, with this, we would really like to begin with the deliberations, and I would like to be introducing to you the panel of speakers, beginning with our very first speaker for the day. A woman of substance, my dear ladies and gentlemen, excellencies and honorables. She is a World Book of Records holder, a long lineup of credentials she has got. She's Dr. Rachna Bhimrajka, a woman that I adore, a graphologist, a handwriting expert, the CEO of Fun to Learn, and she has trained, can you beat it, more than 1,25,000 students, and she works on women empowerment, especially the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Abhiyan, which is saving the girl child and ensuring literacy for the girl child. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think this truly inspiring woman deserves a loud round of virtual applause. So all the ones that I see who are on the video mode, start clapping, and the ones who aren't, at least you can, do this like I'm doing. Let's see an emoticon of clapping the hands coming up. And ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dignitaries, honorables, there she is beaming all over, the very graceful, the very beautiful Dr. Rachna Bhimrajka. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Alka Mahajan ma'am. Such a warm welcome. And to all my guests here on Zoom, namaste from India. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, one and all, depending upon the time zone. And before I start, I would first like to express my gratitude to IIU and Piyush Pandit sir for giving this platform. And yes, I can see all my beautiful, gorgeous friends, Nada ma'am, Alka ma'am, Rabia, Pratibha ma'am. So most of us, we are connected with each other. So, ma'am, nothing could be better than the intro you have given. So thank you so much for it. And yes, I will stick to my time limit, and I will just try that I take the maximum utilization of the time allotted to me. Thank you so much. So now today we are going to discuss about SDG 6. SDG 6, Sustainable Development Goal 6, talks about clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. So when it comes to clean water, many like a common people, they say, what's a SDG in it? So the first question which comes to a common person mind is that what has to be clear, accessible here? What do we have to ensure in it? So yes, SDG 6 it ensures access to safe water, resources, and sanitation for all, because access to water, sanitation, and hygiene is our human right. But yet, billions of people faced with daily challenges today also. Approximately, if we see 1.8 billion people globally use the source of drinking water that is contaminated and it is not fit for drinking. Still, people, they are drinking because of the lack for which SDG 6, we need to ensure that by 2030, we need to ensure that it's fulfilled. Some 2.4 billion people lack access to basic sanitation services such as toilets also. Now, if we talk about the scarcity, water scarcity in the universe affects more than 40% global population, and it is projected to rise more and more. More than 80% of our water resulting from human activities is discharged into rivers without any treatment, leading to pollutions and waterborne diseases, right? And where not only water is also related to water, and sanitation and health is commonly known by UNICEF as WASH, WASH, WASH. Now, proper water and sanitation is a key foundation for attaining all other sustainable development goals like good health and gender equality. If we do not have access to clean water, gender equality, and good health cannot be maintained. So other SDG goals are interconnected with this SDG 6. So we cannot ignore the importance of clean water, sanitation, and health. Okay, now it comes to when we talk about the learnings and the objectives of SDG 6, we can have it into three, we can bifurcate into three types of learning: the cognitive learning, the socio-emotional learning, and the behavioral learning in SDG 6. Now, when it comes to cognitive learning objectives, we need to understand as the fundamental condition of life and the importance of water, the quantity and the quality of water which is required, distribution of and access, and the concept of integrated water resources management. Because as a consequence of water pollution, if we don't get clean water, it leads to a lot of diseases, airborne diseases. Now, the socio-economical learning objective for SDG 6 is that as a social emotional human being, we should participate into activities for improving water and sanitation management in our local communities, and we should, so that we should have access of water and we can save water. Saving water is, again, if we save water, we have a lot of water, so we should participate in lot of community services, and we should able to see the value of good sanitation and hygiene standards. The third behavioral objective, when I talk about the third behavioral objective of learning, is to able to cooperate with your local authorities for the improvement in the local capacity. Most people, they talk, what is the government doing? As per their country, what is the government doing? Can alone the government do everything? No. So we have to cooperate with our local authorities at our end for the improvement in the local capacity. We should be able to inculcate safe water in our daily habits We should teach the inculcation of safe water, saving water and clean water to our kids, our family members. We should plan, implement, execute the contribution and the quality of water safety and water use. So if we follow these three objectives, if we follow these, I'm sure we will be able to attain by 2030, we will be able to end epidemics like TB, malaria, and other waterborne diseases, and also end number of deaths, illness from hazardous chemicals and air, water, and soil pollutions, and which happens due to contamination. We can also eliminate inequalities in access of services by population groups. In many countries, you will see the supply of clean and hygienic water and sanitation is depending upon the social status. So there should be equality in the supply, and yes, the government should take power, the authorities should take provisions and measures so that it reaches out the normal, the poor people first. But for this, the challenges which we face is insufficient finance. Insufficient finance, revenue through tariffs is not sufficient. If we say that tariff is there, it's not sufficient. Lack of the stakeholder engagement, insufficient staff, technician, lack of skilled labor, because this is one of the most important, but I can say the most neglected SDG, because that is taken for granted, I suppose. So the finance should be result-based finance. RBF, if the finance is result-based finance, definitely we will be able to be up to the mark. And with schools, we should connect with schools, and many schools they are following a 3-star approach in WASH in schools, which is very much cost effective. They are doing projects, webinars. Earlier they were doing physical seminars to bring an awareness to how to supply clean water, sanitation and hygiene. So 3-star approach by the schools is also very much one of the major thing which can be taken over. Now there can also be a collaboration from a school, a higher end school which has access of clean water, and the schools which lacks the access of clean water and hygiene. So when the two collaborates, then maybe there is an exchange of ideas, views, that how it can be done. So we have to monitor and find out how, with less cost, each one of us can get involved with the authorities. We can take part in communities, societies to create an awareness, and do a lot of activities related to programs, including water harvesting, water treatment, recycling, reuse technology. And as I mentioned, develop school partnership with the regions of abundance in water, and with the schools which have like low water supply, and also develop an inquiry-based project. Inquiry-based project is very much helpful, is a practical approach, because what human activity can happen without water? See, we all have ample of water. Like if we take example of India, we have lot of ample supply of water, so we don't value, like it goes wasted. But if we go to other countries, like for vacations also, if we go to other countries, then we as individual, we understand the importance of water if we go to different places. So it should be inquiry based project, that what if in India, now if India has ample of water, what if in India does not have water? So if it is an inquiry based project, the results itself will lead us to self-awareness, creating more and more awareness among masses for clean, healthy water. And I have a lot to say, but I think my time constraint is there. I have already completed. I'll just add on to one point, and then I'll wind up, because this is one of my favorite topic. Whenever I choose, I always choose SDG 6 when I have to speak on. So I can talk and talk and talk and talk. So just one point before I wind up. Now, as per UNICEF and WHO, they have sanctioned $28.4 billion per year from the year 2015 to 2030 to attain this SDG 6. Because worldwide 2 million people die every year. So it's our duty to use water wisely, to create more and more awareness, and whatever may be possible to help out the local authorities, government authorities, to create more and more awareness is, I can say, because alone the authorities cannot do. When each one of us supports the authority, then only we can bring this, we can achieve and accomplish our goals. Thank you so much. And I know I exceeded 2 minutes, but
No, you were, your sharings were awesome, and I could see the passion speaking about SDG goal 6, because you talked about cognitive learning, which I thought was absolutely awesome. The fact that we need to cooperate with local authorities, we need to collaborate. You focused on 21st century skills, talking of collaborations, and the fact that schools should encourage inquiry-based projects, which I think is wonderful, because if they do that, the fact that we take water for granted, maybe there will be some kind of consciousness about it. And yes, we need to end waterborne diseases. I could see the passion with which you spoke that. And if this kind of a passion comes in all of us, I'm sure that we will be able to, to a large extent, all over the world, achieve all the sustainable development goals. So thank you so much, Dr. Rachna. Thank you. You were brilliant, as always. Wonderful. All right. So now we will move on to our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Our next speaker has been awarded with the title of Women of Vigor and Innovation in Education 2021. She is the founder and CEO of Ed Wonger Consulting. Pragati Sharma-ji from India. She is an instructional coach. She is certified in child psychology, parenting coach, and she has not only conducted training for Indian educators, but also for the educators from Nigeria, Philippines, Croatia, and others, and has been a master trainer for training programs sponsored by the Charles Walter Society of Innovation and Research, USA. So, ladies and gentlemen, honorables, please welcome Miss Pragati Sharma. It's yours now. Waiting for
good evening.
news.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Dr. Alka, for such a warm welcome. And first of all, before I start, I would like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Piyush Pandit for having me over on this platform and actually creating this platform for talking. So I always say this: whenever we talk, we at least sort our thoughts, we at least are able to know things. If we do not even talk, then we'll never create that awareness. So Dr. Rachna has already spoken so much about it, and I feel every point what she has conveyed has got some strong message and something very strong to look forward to. But I'll add some points from my side also. First of all, SDG, clean water and sanitation, is a very huge problem right now. When we talk about Earth, we already know that 70% of our Earth is filled with water, but still we are running out of the clean water and sanitation. And reason is very simple: it's misusage, it's lack of awareness, and a lot of other factors are involved. And yes, pollution is one of the other factors. So when I say about that, how exactly as a human or as an individual, yes, organizations, big organization, UN has created this, and by 2030 we have to find out a way, or we have to work on these sustainable development goals. So as an individual, what can I do? So I would start with the very first thing: how exactly an awareness, what is the first step towards this clean water and sanitation? The clean water and sanitation can only be done if we create awareness. As already said by Dr. Rachna, that so many campaigns have been run for polio. Yes, so true. Polio and other fever and other kind of illness and sickness. So the same way, if we really want to create this sustainable goal, achieve this sustainable goal, we have to find out exactly how we are going to create awareness. And then when I say how we are going to create awareness, first of all, it's from the government side. Then second, societal base, how I'm going to create awareness in my society. Third is how I'm going to create awareness to my own self. I am the micromanager. I'm the one person who's going to make a big difference finally. I mean, if I don't want to follow what the government is asking me, if I do not, so every individual, plays important role in achieving this goal. Second, I would like to say that it's just not the awareness. In India, I really want to address here. In other countries, they must, I don't know, they know it or not. In India, we are running a campaign of Swachh Bharat from so many years. So Swachh Bharat is basically clean India. So we are going to clean every part of India. We are trying to make India, spick and span and clean everywhere. So these are the campaigns run by the government, and everybody is playing a role. So same way we can create a campaign for clean water and sanitation. And then second is how micromanagement and major management. For micromanagement, there can be a set of things which can be done by, when I say, well, let's do it step by step. First is major management. When major management is not I, as a community, what we can do or what exactly is the plan of action for the same. Then the second is micromanagement, how I'm going to save water or how I'm going to maintain that hygiene and sanitation. So it's a very simple say. We all know that when we are, and I'll start because I'm an educationist first apart from anything else. So I will start from the school children itself. When we teach in school, we just talk about water harvesting. We talk about so many things. But I asked once in my class that you get water every day. If you're going to save water, they just said, ma'am, we are going to do this and we are going to save water. What is the next step? You have saved water, then how are you going to use the water? There's no scarcity in their area. So how are we going to use that water to the area where water is scarce? So such kind of practical approaches, as already said by this other speaker, that inquiry has to be made in the classroom itself. It's just not the students where we can start this agenda, but yes, society of course, but yes, students are the most basic from where, if we really want to make these goals sustainable, we want to make sure that all the goals are for, we have achieved them forever, or we have created that awareness. So yes, students in society and every human is important. So then next I really want to say is, when I really have to find out the root cause. Somebody has to find out the root cause of why there is a scarcity of clean water and sanitation. Generally, I will just give an example because I watch a lot of documentaries. So in the documentary, it was mentioned that one person, it was a case study basically, one person had for 1 month, for 3 months, continuous month, used only 1 bucket of water, used only very little washing vegetables, very little water for, not wasting water with pipe, and not just giving water through mugs and proper plantation equipments. But still, the person, it came out that he could is exactly a lot of water going. If the person is able to, when we guided in the school that you can save water through these steps, then still we are running out of the clean water. Why? Because we have to know the bigger picture here, that clean water is not just because of this. There's a lot of pollution. And why there's a lot of pollution? Because there's a lot of methane gas in the environment. And when there's a methane gas, we just say that it's just not through vehicles or anything. It's majorly because of livestock also. So we really have to ask ourselves, is it what I want for my world? Is it what we are going to bring children into this world for? So something like this. And basically this can only come when people will have awareness. People will start micro and major management. And yes, when we know that these are the cause and root causes and these are the solution, there can be a steps that can be followed, and these steps can be followed by each and everyone. So I rest my case here.
Thank you so much, Dr. What happened to me all of a sudden? Pragati ji. Dr. Pragati, that was wonderful. I like the fact that you gave very practical examples. You know, since you're an educationist, you talked about how you do it with the school children. I think that is wonderful because from the school children, the awareness will actually increase and grow if we really want everyone to come to know, because from the level, the youngest to the eldest, you know, I think it should always grow. And the earlier they get to know about this, the better it will be. Inquiry-based approaches, and that a little example that you gave, that, you know, if you've saved water, after water harvesting, how do you use it best? I think they themselves, you know, these young minds will give us answers to us adults, and perhaps we get an ingenious answer, which we think, and which our scientists and other people could find that, wow, this is something that can be put into practice. So absolutely wonderful sharing, and very well said.
I would also like to just say one more thing. I mean, I really don't know how many of us we really know about it, or even the students know about that. Bill Gates has already started a bigger project of sanitation. He has started working on it, and this project is coming to India also. So if we start spreading these kind of things, then people will start understanding that, okay, something in this area also we need help. In this area also we need to do some steps. When I go to a slum area, they are not aware of these facts. So the facts have to, the first step is awareness. Even not just this, even when I go to city, corporate people do not know about all this. So awareness is a very big challenge. And once we have awareness, definitely these days we have awareness towards our environment. That is why we are taking tiny steps to, to prevent it, before Earth collapse, we want to save it.
Absolutely, because every drop in the ocean does count and does matter. So baby steps will actually lead to those huge steps. So thank you so much, Pragati ji. You were absolutely wonderful. Great sharing of thoughts and very well said, very articulately said. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, honorables, let us move on to our next speaker for this event. We have with us the gorgeous woman who believes in spreading positive vibes, Miss Swarleen Kaur from India. She's a master's in English and personality development, founder director, The Talk Room, a passionate and devoted youth personality development coach and trainer, international speaker and author. Miss Swarleen's love for words and the fact that her expression, this has resulted in a book entitled Good Vibes Make Good Lives. And this was published and launched in August 2020. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Lady of Power who sparkles and spreads smiles with the power of words. Miss Swarleen Kaur from India.
Alka, I don't see her here. We can go to Miss Sarika Miglani. So if Rika come, we will come back.
You want me to go to Miss Sarika?
Yes, Miss Sarika, please.
Okay, I have her towards the end.
Miss Sunita Raif has an accident at home, so she will not come today. Rabia said that now.
All right. So even Miss Richa Singh, because I'm not able to see there today properly. Not there?
I see her.
All right, so I'll call Miss Sarika. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that, but we have to move on to our next speaker for this event, SDG Goal 6, and that is Miss Sarika Miglani from India. She is a biology expert. She has done her master's in zoology, and she teaches biology at the Mata Gujri Public School in Delhi, India. So, Miss Sarika Miglani, may we have you on this virtual platform to share your views, your perspectives on SDG Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Ms. Sarika, may we have you please kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video.
Our next speaker, Miss Sani Rayev is here, but she has a problem and she can't turn up her camera and put the video. So we must wait. She asked for waiting.
Sarika, Miss Sarika asked for us to wait.
No.
All right, then in the meantime,
in the meantime, we can put a video because many speakers are waiting for their time.
let's share our video on the various courses that IIU offers, a variety of them, right from the arts and music to all those sustainable development courses, sustainable development learnings, and all done online. Watch the video and you will find out yourself.
What is education? Books? Classes? Teachers? Schools? No. Education is not that. It's beyond this. Education is a term that we have grown up listening to since we were kids. Right from the beginning of childhood till this very moment, we have been surrounded by education and its need and importance. A luxury for the rich, a necessity for the bread earner, a dream for the underprivileged, an aspiration for the suppressed, a distant reality for the inaccessible. The primary objective of education is to impart knowledge. Education also has its fair share in building the thinking capacity of people's minds. Hence, education supplies people with knowledge and facts and also encourages them to integrate that acquired knowledge into practical and professional lives via necessary training. Education thus also plays a primary role in supporting the economic, social and cultural sector of a country. It's a way to change the future today. The current education system can make people easy to lead, but difficult to drive, is either all academic, all physical, all virtual or all costly. Also, it makes easy to govern, but impossible to enslave. We cannot win over the future by sabotaging our present with extreme disparity. IIU takes great pride in saying that we're bridging the gaps in education system. We're not just academicians, but also practically oriented. We're not just limited to virtual classes, but also physical exposure. We do not dig a hole in the pockets of the students and their families. We're everything that traditional education hasn't been. IIU has already implemented and promoting the MOOCs technology. When we talk about MOOCs technology, it stands for Massive, Open, Online Courses. The word massive is to be understood in the sense that 100,000 learners or more at the same time have open and equal opportunities to attend these courses. MOOCs are truly a tremendous technological leap, and what makes them so attractive is that they don't imply any cost to learners. IIU has tied up with more than 100 universities to provide more than 10,000 courses to the students, free of cost, with the help of MOOCs technology. We're a revolution in the making, a wind of change. Education is much more charming and intriguing than the temptations of distractions unnecessary. Our education policymakers must look into the problem to make a better system which is more practical and provides hands-on learning to the students. Who are we? The International Internship University is a virtual university with state-of-the-art curriculum, real-life industry exposure, amazing student attention, learning-oriented resources, and most of all, a commitment to make the world a better place. Why do we exist? We exist to fulfill the necessity of the bread earner. We exist to help underprivileged achieve their dreams. We exist to fuel aspirations and accessibility. We exist to provide everyone the luxury of being capable of changing the world. We really do exist to ignite young minds and make them the torchbearers of tomorrow. For a better future. For the legacy of everyone who's left us. For the hope of everyone who's yet to come, and for the growth of everyone who walks this beautiful planet. We invite you to join our world-class educational team and platform with an altruistic dedication to creating the future. The change is so big that it would potentially impact millions across the world. Millions of children and youth around the world cannot wait any longer. Please join us in our effort to create the virtual learning generation of Iiu. We're Iiu, we're change. Welcome to our world, a new tomorrow.
So, well, that was about the courses. I'm sure you enjoyed that.
I think that we lose Mrs. Alka because I get some information from our speakers that they have a bad time.
Of courses that Iiu provides. Okay, so
Alka,
I'll just talk about then maybe we can invite Sunita Rajiv.
Miss Alka, please. Miss Alka.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You can start, please.
Am I audible to all?
Please, can you introduce yourself in 2 sentences?
Hello, Nada ma'am. Am I audible to all?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Sarika, yes,
Start.
Sarika, yes, you
Good
are
evening, everyone. First of all, I
audible.
would like to thank the Iiu University for giving us such a
about the
opportunity
golden-
to express ourselves. So I would like to share my screen for that. Kindly give me permission,
I get
ma'am.
you permission. You can share the screen.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are here to discuss about SDG 6, clean water and sanitation.
Miss Sarika, could you talk a little louder because we don't hear you good?
Your voice is not. Just a second, ma'am. Now the screen is visible to all.
Yes, you are visible.
So what does this SDG 6 stands for? It stands for, it's all about clean water and sanitation for all. Why this goal is so important? Sustainable management of water resources and access to safe water and sanitation are essential for unlocking the economic growth and productivity and provide significant leverage for existing investment in health and education. Now, what is the focus of UN SDG 6? The main focus is it affects more than 40% of people around the world, an alarming figure that is projected to increase with the rise of global temperatures as a consequence of climate change. Now, how can we ensure access to water and sanitation for all? Now, see, While substantial progress has been made in increasing access to clean drinking water and sanitation, billions of people, mostly in rural areas, they are still lacking these basic amenities. Worldwide, 1 in 3 people, they do not have this access to safe drinking water. Then 2 out of 5 people do not have basic hand washing facility even. And more than 673 million people still practice open defecation. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the critical importance of sanitation, hygiene, and adequate access to clean water for preventing and containing diseases. And hand washing saves lives. So according to World Health Organization, hand washing is one of the most effective actions that you can take to reduce the spread of pathogens and prevent infections, including the COVID-19 virus. Yet, billions of people are still lacking safe water sanitation and funding is inadequate. So there are 8 targets. We have to achieve 8 targets to achieve this whole goal, SDG 6. So what are these targets? We'll talk about them one by one. So each one of us, every one of us can help to make sure that we meet this SDG 6 global goal. So target 1 is safe and affordable drinking water. So by 2030, we need to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. The next one, end open defecation and provide access to sanitation and hygiene. So we need to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all, and end open defecation, paying special attention to the needs of women and girls and those in vulnerable situations. The target 3 is improve water quality, wastewater treatment, and safe reuse. So in this, we can minimize the release of hazardous chemicals and materials, and we can try to maximize the treatment of wastewater so that the life underwater is also maintained, and which we must try to increase the recycling and safe reuse of water globally. Target 4 is increase water use efficiency and ensure fresh water supplies. So I'll not go in detail of all the targets. Target 5 is implement integrated water resources management, then protect and restore water related ecosystems, expand water and sanitation support to developing countries, and support local engagement in water and sanitation management. So as Rachna ma'am has already mentioned, all the SDGs are interlinked, they are highly interdependent. So therefore, the provision of clean water and sanitation for all is a precursor to achieve many other SDGs. So with the progress on goal 6, the other goals and targets can also be achieved. Say for example, progress in SDG 6 will improve health. So SDG 3 is also achieved, and improve school attendance, both of which contribute to eliminating poverty. Similarly, we have several other examples. Say sanitation improvements can lead to more jobs. So SDG 8 can be achieved, which would also lead to economic growth. Similarly, SDG 6 progresses, its progress improves health, that is SDG 3, and social justice also, that is SDG 16. Recovering the resources embedded in excreta and wastewater, like when we are doing recycling, so we can recover these resources embedded in excreta and wastewater, like nutrients. I'm talking about water and energy. It will contribute to achieving SDG 12, that is sustainable consumption and production, and obviously SDG 2 also, that is to end hunger. So ensuring adequate sanitation and wastewater management along the entire value chain in cities contributes to our SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, and SDG 1, no poverty. So this is how all the SDGs are interlinked with this SDG 6. Now next slide talks about promoting good hygiene and habits through education. Now this is very important, as now we all know proper hand washing with soap and water reduce diarrhea cases up to 35%. So we need to ensure this in school. How can schools become a key factor in initiating the change? Good hygiene and behavior at an early age can lead to lifelong positive habits. School children can also influence the behavior of family members, both adults and siblings, and positively influence the community as a whole. See, while we were doing offline teaching, whenever the kids they were having their lunch break time, we used to motivate them to wash their hands. Then only you can have your food. Every child was taught to wash his or her hands, and then only they were allowed to have their food during the break time. So this habit of hand washing was imbibed in them right from the childhood at school, in their schools, right? So this should be encouraged even in online teaching, so that they still remain, they still have this habit of hand washing and certain other good habits, and they influence their family members also. They keep influencing their family members also, their siblings, even the elders. That's how the schools can help. They can act as a key factor in initiating this change. Now, the next slide is about the impact of a cotton t-shirt. Now, this is very interesting. Every day we are trying to be conscious of our water consumption. We take shorter showers just to save water. We close the tap while brushing our teeth, again just to save water. But what do we all have in our houses that consumes a 900 days worth of drinking water? That will be your favorite cotton t-shirt. And that's a lot of water. You see, I'll just change the slide. It takes around 2,700 liters of water just to make a single cotton t-shirt. So to make a single cotton t-shirt, this much quantity of water is utilized. So it is about how smart choices can make a difference in our water and energy footprint. So one key ingredient that doesn't show up on your shirt's label is water. As I have already mentioned, it can take 2,700 liters of water just to make a single cotton t-shirt. So this is actually the unseen or the virtual water we are consuming every day. So while it's important to fix the leaky taps and buy efficient washing machines, the water we use at home is only part of our total. It is just a small part of our total footprint. There is some unseen virtual water which we are consuming without knowing that we are consuming. I'll give you one more example. Like take the refreshing cola, like Coca-Cola drink or any cold drink that we are taking. Only a fraction of the water involved actually goes into the bottle. Most of it is used to grow the sugar cane, which is used to make this drink. So it is this, we have to work on this virtual, this unseen water that we are consuming also. Right? The amount of fresh water available to meet the needs of people and nature is limited, but the demands grow year by year. So we have to get smarter about how we use water. Now, what difference can be made in reducing the use of this unseen virtual water? Like it takes a lot of energy to grow, manufacture, and transport the cotton t-shirt, but the most of the energy goes not only in the manufacture of this t-shirt, 2,700 liters of water is used, but when we have bought it, we are using. Am I audible? When we are using it at our homes, how caring for it, when we are taking care of our clothes, how we are using that unseen water, again I'm going to mention. One load of washing machine, when we are using the washing machine, it uses 40 gallons of water. Then when we are drying the clothes in machine, one load of drying uses 5 times more energy than washing. So if we can skip this ironing and drying of the t-shirts, it will save a third of its carbon footprint. So can we all do that? Yes, of course we can do that to save our water footprint. Whether it's reducing waste, saving energy, or being a conscious consumer, our small actions can make a big difference. So with this note, I would like to end. Thank you so much, the Iiu University, for giving this opportunity. Over to you, Madam.
Miss Alka, are you here? Okay, now I would
Wait,
like.
I'm here. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank
Over to
you.
you. Over to
Thank
you,
you to Ms.
Alka.
Wonderful information, especially about the t-shirt part. I think that was amazing. And the fact that we have to do this education through education, you know, hand washing, hygiene, sanitation, water, how to use water and not take it for granted. I think it all begins from so wonderful inputs, great insights, and wonderful sharing. And thank you so much. A big, big clap to you, a virtual one, but I can do this one as well. So thank you so much. Before any one of us gets lost, so let me introduce our next speaker. The next speaker is the wonderful Miss Sunita Rajiv from India. She is a certified teacher, trainer, a certified child protection expert, ambassador, and headmistress, Alcon International School. She is a certified climate reality leader who works incessantly to generate awareness among people about the need for climate change. Wow. Recipient of the Geeta Raghavan Award and also received the Best English Teacher Award from ELTI. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable excellencies, please welcome Miss Sunita Rajiv. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Alka ma'am. My special pranam to Alka ji and Nada ma'am. With great patience and divine smiles, you are steering the show so beautifully. My great thanks to IIU definitely for having organized this conference, which is a need of the hour. And as you've allowed me to share my screen, which I will, I definitely want to, take you to my presentation. And
yes, you can, Mrs. Sunita.
Thank you so much. Is my screen visible to you, Nada ma'am?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. And I hope it is, my voice is clear too?
Yes, but
because my message should not be lost.
But only you can put it dia projection if you want.
Absolutely.
Okay,
so I'm
thank you.
absolutely starting the slideshow. Yes. And there it goes. So as Alka ma'am announced very clearly, I'm from Alcon International School. And now that you are here to witness my presentation, I'll take you back to English literature. Now you see, this is the head of my school, my principal and the director, Alcon International School, India. And this is in Delhi. Here you see, we are all here to speak about clean water and sanitation. So we know very well the facts which are given by the Google Guru. 4 billion people, almost 2/3 of the world's population, experience severe water scarcity for at least 1 month each year. Over 2 billion people are really facing such problems. You see here in front of you is the water scarcity. You see the availability of fresh water 0.30. Can you beat that? And you see the average African woman walks 6 kilometers each day to haul 40 pounds of water. This is a picture story, but the pictures are all real. And there's nothing better than water for the life on earth. People are struggling to access the quantity and quality of water they need for drinking, cooking, bathing, hand washing, and growing their food. By 2025, an estimated 1.8 billion people will live in areas plagued by water scarcity. So shouldn't we wake up now? We don't want our children to have empty cans in their hand. And then about 1.8 billion patients and health workers, they face a higher risk of COVID-19 and other diseases due to the lack of basic water and sanitation services at health services, that is said by UNICEF. Globally, 844 million people lack access to clean water, which means more than 1 of every 10 people on the planet are affected by the global water crisis. Water is precious. No doubt about that. Water is really, really very precious. So why am I here to speak about things? Start catching them young. And that passing on of the great, great message of saving water has to be imbibed, even in the 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and teaching them in schools about the value of water, value of natural resources. Everything has to be really, I would say, shoved down into their minds because the responsibility is there. Be it mine, be it assemblies, be it competitions, be it posters. Use them effectively in whatever role you are. If you have made houses in your school, houses means the different houses that we have in our schools, you give them the theme of SDGs, because that is the way we can move on. And then water conservation should be there in the mind of each and every one. Global projects of January to August, 6 months, another group is doing it wonderfully well. Then taking them, making them a part of Mission Pani, that is also one beautiful effort that my school did. And children, they were making fridge handles, bookmarks, everything to remind them constantly that it was their responsibility to save every drop of water. They started working that no tap should be leaking in the school when the offline mode was there, and no tap was leaking in their houses. And children went to the extent of pasting a notice outside their own bathroom: while leaving your home, check your water taps and close them. So that was a very clear reminder. They visited classes, they put the posters on the wall. While you walked, you were reminded. While you talked, you were reminded. And the 17 goals are something that we champion, that we make the backbone of every program. The backbone is SDGs. And speaking it out on the social media, having walks for them, marathons for them, presentations, campaigns. Why? Because if the children are groomed well by us, things will be done. And valuing your rivers. This is about the project about Namami Gange. That is, if you value your rivers, the water will be there. And these are the projects, mind you, not a single of them is made by a teacher. Every child comes forward because they're very happy. If they're doing something for the SDGs, they're being recognized. And then the greatest one is the SDG Fest, because I'll be sharing about it sooner in the group also. We hold it open to all for all the schools all over the world, where the schools participate. And these are the glimpses of the last year's participation, the YouTube videos where the children conveyed the great message of saving water through their beautiful dances. I hope my voice is clear, Nada ma'am. Yeah? Okay. Every drop matters. Everything that is done by the child will remain with him, because when he takes the steering wheel in his hand, then it works best. Children, even in online mode, they are coming up with their own thoughts, their own views. And that is where I think the success story is. I, being a climate reality leader, I definitely bring these issues up more often than ever. And the work speaks for itself. So speaking for children, speaking presenting in front of them, training your own teachers, and taking parents on board, that is the way we have to go ahead. So when children are prepared, I think half of our work will be done. So we have made our water detectives. All activities are listed in which water are used, and the estimate of water that is used is calculated by the children. And they are the ones who say, don't use shower, let us have a bucket bath. And checking out again in the campus, not allowing anybody to do that is absolutely fine. So I just wanted to bring in front of you, why am I showing all that? Not to make my school proud that much, but rather making an appeal on such an important and prestigious platform. And that appeal is, each one of us, in whatever role we are, we have to spread the word far and wide by repeating it. We know very well, if ever the Third World War happens, it will be because of water. And the countries now plagued by the pandemic, the news of wars, of refugees, of problems which are escalating every day. We don't have to forget that it is our responsibility. There's no other planet B. And just to end it on a musical note, because I'm a music lover, and I'll take the liberty of sharing the screen again and showing you a song, because if you use all your talents to spread the message to the world, I think the work is done. And if you allow, I can just take 1 more minute and sharing it with the sound, because I need to share the sound also. And there it goes. Yes, and there it is. So 1 second more, and I'll go to my screen. Presentation, that's it. So I'll just minimize this and take you to my song, which I've created only for the, I'll have to stop share and maybe do it. I'll just do one thing. I'll sing 2 lines here and maybe post the link so that I don't take away if you allow that. So there it goes. Oh, if you want to change the world, just follow the SDGs. Oh, if you want to change the world, just follow the SDGs. Oh, you will cure the Mother Earth and bring universal peace. You will see that people will follow happily. You will change your lives and their destiny. Oh, if you want to change the world, just follow the SDGs. Oh, you can cure the Mother Earth and spread universal peace. I'll post a link of the song in the chat box. Do visit, use it wherever you can, because when songs are sung, dances are presented, acts are done, mime is done, and then the message is spread far and wide, and we need to take action because time is ticking. And remember Coleridge's word, water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. That should not happen. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Wow, I just fell in love with whatever you said. I do the same. I love using a lot of music, activities, because I feel the learning remains permanent. Plus, children enjoy it more. They become lifelong learners. They understand how to take decisions. And once the awareness also increases, when we do songs like this, I know it's a song like Oh Susanna,
Yeah, exactly the same. Thank you for catching that.
play banjo on my knee. But the fact is that it's so catchy, and the way the words have,
and everyone can sing it.
I think it's going to work like magic. And work like magic. And the fact that we should have activities and lots of activities, not only in our country, but from countries all over the world. No stopping the SDGs from actually working in a miraculous way for humanity. I tell you that. Thank you so much. You were so wonderful, and you stole my heart, because water, water everywhere, English literature, and I am a big fan of English literature.
Coleridge.
A student of English literature for life.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nada. Thank you so much, Alka. God bless you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really very sorry because we're changing the order of the speakers. Please forgive, because some of our speakers have these last moment technical glitches, and some of them have this climatic problems, weather problems are there. So therefore, I have to, change the order. So for that, I am going to be calling the very illustrious Mr. Javed Khan, who's currently working as a principal in Saint Bilal Convent, Inter-College Laharpur School. He is an administrator. He's highly accomplished professional with the ability to identify growth opportunities and manage non-profit organizations. So he is the member and enjoys, high credentials in various prestigious organizations. A very dear friend of mine. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, honorables and excellencies, the very illustrious Mr. Javed Khan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful explanation about me. Thank you, Nada ma'am, also, and all the members of the IIU. And especially thanks to the Piyush Pandit sir. So without wasting the time, I want to say, or you can say, express our views about the goal 6 out of the 17 SDGs. I want to say something about the goal 6. It was established in the United Nations generally, as we all know, in 2015. The official wording for that is ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for 663 million people not get clean water. And the UN focuses by 2030 in improving the infrastructure globally to get it the number 0. Now, what type of I am trying to brief this thing is that just take a question and give the answers in this way. Will give you. Why do we need a goal on water sanitation? Can you imagine? When we wake up in the morning and open the tap, we don't have a water. We don't have a facility to relieve ourselves. So this is a situation of the millions of the people around the world. They don't have the proper infrastructure in their homes to deliver the people's home, to have to leave their homes, and so many people leave their homes to move. I think this ma'am has also discussed with us. The females are moving from at least 6 kilometers from their homes to take the waters and coming back after from there. So some people are not facing that. They can't think what they are facing now, going to 6 kilometers away from their homes and come back to the home. So it's somehow we can say try to reduce these uh, problems. We have to think on it. So next is the infrastructure is only responsible for that. Yes, somehow the infrastructure is responsible, including with that the pollution is also responsible. Infrastructure where we can store the water and all, where we can do some project at the water harvesting and all. So including the infrastructure, the pollution is also playing the important role. Pollution, we can say, you know the farmers very well. But the farmers are using the pesticides in the fields. They just keep their pesticides to yield more and more crops. So when the water flow from the fields, they get inside the water. What happened? The fish engulf it. They can drink that water in that. They having the more and the more the chemicals, it spoils the life of the marine waterways. As the days are going on, people want somehow where the money to yield more and more crop to show this is the size of the apple, this is the size of a brinjal. They want to sell it in a more price. So for that, they are keeping the more and more pesticide to increase the growth of the crops and all. So somehow we reduce the chemical pesticides, try to use the natural made things. So it can't harm the marine water holes. Next, does it only affect the peoples in developing regions? The really positive thing about the sustainable goal development or water and sanitation is just about developing countries. These are the target and the important people for every country in the world. We produce a lot of water waste on daily basis, and we need a better technology. We can say a different type of technology we are using here. So what I am thinking about the technology is that I don't have a big tank, different types of the filters I have. No, what I do here is I just simply keep a bottle in my school, different types of bottle, and just plan an activity, not for the students, for their parents, including their grandparents. When they come for the activities, don't tell them that today we are going to conduct activity on, and we are telling you about the goal 6. No, they can't take any interest. As Sunita ma'am said before, we have to implement a different methods to implement that, to take their interest there. So I call all to give them a name, an activity. They are anxiously waiting about that. They come us and enjoy us. We keep some type of different colors in bottle. So, but the students do there, if they want the a light color or somehow we can say the pure color to paint it that. So what they do, first they do the activity. Same as we all know, we all heard about the soil profile, rock, gravel, sand, and all things are there. What we are using here, we just make it inverted here. First we keep the soil, then the big stone, then more bigger, then more bigger. Then first the students keep the water in that, then finally they get the pure water. Not for the drinking somehow, but what we are using here, that water is passes from that, we can see the row and directly go to the plants. So we no need to water the plant there. In place of wasting the water, or what our students do in our school, we have the sensor taps in our school because we have a ATL lab in our schools. The students keep that sensors in a tap. Whenever they keep their hands below that, they get the water. So somehow we can save that water in that way also. One more thing I want to tell you is that the students of my school student, I have that idea, but shared with the student, a big umbrella we keep on the terrace when the water started raining. So whatever the water is coming from the above side, we can say from the sky, all the water collected in that umbrella. Slowly with the handle of the umbrella, slowly it moves downward. But we have a big tank in our school. We are using for the water harvesting day. The whole ground in our school is used for the water harvesting. The students are enjoying upon that, and we use the proper use of the water there. So most of the problems we are facing there, most of the people are, I'm not saying that you are saying wrong. All are saying very perfect and all the things are very good. But we have to learn the things very practically. Practical thing is very necessary to show them. I just take the students to make the most of the thing, just like the water purification tank. In water purification tank, in science, the students studying about the coagulation. Most of the students are here, persons are don't know what is coagulation. Coagulation means the bigger particles back into the smaller particles. Then after that, the process will come is the sedimentation, where the bigger and smaller, but the water, the light particles are flowing on the water body, and the heavy particles set down at the bottom. Then the process will go is filtration. You know, filtration, we use the filters there, and you can easily filter them. Then after that, disinfection infection. So what we do there is we are using it the chlorine also, as you all know very well, chlorine. So what only the person who are working on the high level, they know what actually chlorine is. We have to understand what the chlorine is. When the student know what process is using there, then they can do something new. When the simply seeing that water tank, there is a water tank doing this and that can't be worked. We just make them to do this thing in a practical way, to learn the thing. Then next time they prepare another type of tank. We are using the tap before. The persons what the in rural area, they just cover up with I think a cloth to get the something free from that type of green substance coming. We can say algae. So what the students using are they are using the sensors. So keep them practically each and everything in their mind. So make them to think and don't make them to what they think. उनको सोचना, we have to make them think, not what to think. They have the mind, they always do something innovative and new for us. So like that, UNDP has contributed much in the sustainable goal development below the light, under the water, or on the earth also. So we can help in the cause by what? Reduce using the plastics, industrial waste, promoting hygiene, and rainwater harvesting. What I am feeling, somehow it is doing a big work on it. So at the last, what I want to say is, remember to be generous with the nature and not harm, because plants and animals are the creation of God. If we value them, so surely God will value us. Thank you, sir.
Big applause for our Javed. We don't know to say thank you. Thank you very much for a great speech, for a great ideas and experience.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Wonderful, impactful, impressive, and ingenious. And the fact that we have to make children think, not what to think, but let them just think by just giving them various ideas, give them a couple of things and tell them to do some kind of an activity. Your ideas for water harvesting, the umbrella thing that you were sharing, the one with the parents and grandparents, I think it's all awesome. That's how we're going to increase awareness about all these goals. And I think as school leaders, you are doing a great job. And if we continue doing it in the same spirit, I say I'm very optimistic. The world will definitely become a great place to be in. So great going, Mr. Javed Khan. Salute and hats off to you. All right, before I invite my next speaker, I would just like to talk to you about something very interesting. Respected educators, friends, excellencies, dignitaries, I would like to share something about the Golden Book of Earth. Golden Book of Earth. Now you'll ask me, what is that? I'll just tell you. It will comprise of the research innovations, experiences, stories, articles by 101 great educators who have inspired the world. It will be the Wikipedia of knowledge. In these tough times, especially of the pandemic, educators all over the globe are putting in their best to provide education to every learner despite various hurdles, obstacles. It is the first golden book on the earth describing the expressions of the educators, which will make history. Which will make history. You can write in the chat box to tell me that you're all listening to what I'm saying, my lovely people. Let me see a couple of, what did I say just now? It will make
H-I-S-T-O-R. Excellent. It will make
Exactly.
IIU.
Great, Nada. Thanks for that.
That is that. Said
Yes.
IIU for the first on the world.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, wait, it is the first golden book on the earth describing the expressions which will make history, which will be published by International PR and Research Publishing House, IIU, International Internship University of UK. It is a wonderful opportunity for each one in the sector of education, the educators, the principals, the teachers, the edu leaders to express themselves. Be the change that you wish to see in the world by sending your nomination. Just grab the opportunity and be one of them. Be one of the 101 great educators who have inspired the world. So, what is the last date of submission? Let me tell you that also. Mark the date, block the date, and write it somewhere in your journals, diaries, or whatever you have at hand. The 20th of September, 2021. The decision of the reviewing committee will be final and irrevocable. And I tell you, this is wonderful because the very charming co-founder of International Internship University has also done a lot of work in this regard. I tell you, he is going to bring a lot of change, revolutionize not only education, but all sectors of education and everything related to education. So please go ahead, grab this opportunity and send in your nomination and do it. ASAP, do it pronto. And what was the date? If somebody can write the date in the chat box, what was the last date I said? I'm sorry, but you have to get this into your system. My lovely friends, you really need to get this into your system. We do a lot of this with our students in school. We need to be learners all the time. Fantastic, fantastic. Sunita ji has written, my friend Dr. Vaishali has written, superb. And I'm sure all these nominations are going to come their way. And you are going to be part of the 101 educators and going to be making history. Will that? Let's move on now to our next wonderful speaker, the gorgeous, from Europe's unpolished diamond, Albania, my gorgeous friend, Irene Biba. She is a master teacher, trainer, and she has been in the field of education for 25 years now. And she teaches for secondary as well as high school children in Albanian language, literature, French, Italian. Ooh la la. That's what I can say. And not only that, she's a writer. She's written many articles on flipped learning and 21st century skills in education. A power woman indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, please welcome my gorgeous friend from Albania, Irene Biba. Hello, Irene. How are you?
Thank you so much for introducing me. Alka, you are a great moderator. So glad to be here in IIU. I feel I'm home. Okay, can I share my screen, dear?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. I choose goal 6, ensure access to water and sanitation. It's a beautiful topic. Just a moment, please. 97.5% of the water in the world is in the oceans and island seas as salt water and 2.5% of fresh water. However, 87% of this fresh water is found in glaciers, soil, atmosphere, groundwater, and it is unusable. It is seen that the remaining 30% of the freshwater ratio is usable and potable. Sustainable management of water resources and access to safe water and sanitation are essential for unlocking economic growth and productivity and provide significant leverage for existing investment in health and education. The natural environment, for example, forests, soil, and wetlands, contributes to management and the regulation of water availability and water quality, strengthening the resilience of watershed and complementing investment in physical infrastructure and institutional and regulatory arrangements for water access, use, and disaster preparedness. Water shortages undercut food security, and the incomes of rural farmers while improving water management makes national economies, the agriculture and food sectors, more resilient to rainfall variability and able to fulfill the needs of growing population. Protecting and restoring water-related ecosystems and their biodiversity can ensure water purification and water quality standards. Whether our homes are near or far from the sea, our lives depend on our planet's oceans. Covering about 70% of the Earth's surface, our seas supply half the oxygen we breathe and provide food and livelihoods for more than 1 billion people. Marine plastic pollution and its effects on life below water have recently been brought to our attention, particularly by the media. Climate change has developed with the effect of excessive pollution and the increase in the world population, and it has also caused a great deal of water resources. Available water resources on our planet and in our country are ways to producing and collecting water in accordance with the future conditions of our country, water management, ways to develop new consumer skills related to water will cover. In our school, we are having to make a beautiful project about management of water. The most important and permanent solution to the water scarcity in the world is the education of people, no? Here we aim to create awarenesses of the importance of water and the water conservation for our students. Our students will notice the factors that cause water pollution at an early age and discover ways to avoid them. They will learn to use water economically and apply it. They will learn about water recycling through methods such as purification and distillation and integrate them into their daily lives. They will develop alternative methods to reduce water consumption. Thanks to our project, not only our students, but also students' families and other people will gain awarenesses as they try to disseminate. We want to continue the project by making common decisions in a democratic form. We aim also to continue the decision together in a democratic way. The project will be student-centered. We just want to include it in the decision-making processes. We want to include disabled students too, also. We aim to research both jointly and collaboratively with mixed schools teams from different countries in Europe, especially in e-twinning platform. While planning the activities, we aim for an interdisciplinary knowledge. There will be a theme each month. For example, in March, draw for water. In April, write for water. In May, sing for water. Other events will be agreed with partners in the first webinar. First of all, we want to raise awareness of water conservation in our students, then their families and all the society we can reach. We expect our students to understand the importance of water. We aim to make our voices heard by all the people we can reach with blog, school websites, various social media tools, and different news sources. Thank you for your attention. So glad to be here with you. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here, sharing your perspectives, talking about the projects that the students are doing in Albania. And I think that idea of a monthly project on this topic for conservation of water, I think that will be a big help, because the more they do it and the more they talk about it, the more the awareness increases and the better will be the sustainability. And I think that is what we are trying to do as educators all over the world. So fantastic, Irina. It was lovely hearing you after a long time, and I enjoyed myself completely. And I'm sure everybody also did the same. So thank you so much. Lots of love.
Thank you again.
Keep shining. Yep. So before we move on to our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch a video which talks about the accreditation of International Internship University. And believe me, you will be amazed by the kind of accreditations. My God, this is such a tongue twister for me. You will be amazed by what you see. I can vouch for that. So dear team, may we have the video, please? Thank you.
Join us to make a difference in the orbits of education. We are the change. We are IIU. Are you a K-12 school offering a top quality education? Are your students getting global exposure? Is experiential learning and innovation a part of your curriculum? Are your teachers internationally certified educators? Are you able to identify your learners' potential and expose them to compete globally? If the above questions do not sound optimist, then the clock has struck to get accredited and affiliated by IIU. You think of strategies, training, competitions, we offer it. You want to interact with an expert team of educators, we possess it. You want to be exposed to learning at a global platform? If yes, you have embarked at the right destination. IIU's International School Accreditation Board. Let's put some light over accreditation, what it is. Why do we need it? Simply put, accreditation is value. In today's challenging world, it is extremely important that institutes or schools be accredited and approved with the institutes, meet certain standards. Accreditation assures employers that the graduates of an accredited institute are ready to face challenges and rigors of the modern world. The students who graduate from accredited institutes and schools have access to enhanced opportunities and employment and global mobility. IIU accreditation affiliation has no bars for any boards like state boards, CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, IB. IIU accreditation affiliation has created an arena for learners across the various countries and continents throughout the globe. What are you waiting for? Apply now. IIU's International School Accreditation Board.
Thank you so much for that. That has given us all, I'm sure, a lot of insights about this process. And now I think it's time to introduce to you our next speaker, and the very erudite Harshit Prakash Bhai Bhavsar from India. He is an assistant professor at the SAL College of Engineering. So, Mr. Harshit, are you there?
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are perfectly, and we do look forward to your perspectives on SDG number 6.
Yes, thank you so much, Alka ma'am. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can, please.
Okay, wait a moment. Is screen visible to all?
Yes, it is now.
Visible.
Yeah, okay. So myself, Parashit Bhavsar, working as assistant professor in engineering college in Gujarat, India. So basically, I want to give my concern regarding to save water. Okay. So as we are aware about the clean, accessible water for all its essential part of the world, we want to live in the good health for the good society, good economic development, and the ecosystem. However, due to the bad economics, poor infrastructure, millions of people, including the children, die every year from the disease associated with the inadequate water supply, sanitation, and hygiene. So, as the populations grow and the natural environments become degraded, ensuring there are sufficient and safe water supplies for everyone is becoming very increasingly challenging. So nowadays, the challenge is that to provide a safe, hygienic water to each and everyone, which will be very much drinkable. Okay, a major part of the solution is to produce the less pollution and improve the way we manage our wastewater. Currently, 2 billion people's lack of access to safely managed drinking water and 3.6 billion people lack of safety managed sanitation service. Unsafe hygiene practice are well spread, compounding the effect on people's health. The impact of child mortality rate is devastating, with more than 297,000 children under 5 who die annually from the diarrheal disease due to the poor sanitation, poor hygiene, and unsafe drinking water. So basically, how we can use the wastewater which can be converted into the clean water. Okay, so I am just going towards the my work in my institute. We are having the engineering students are here, so they are working on the various project to produce the clean water. Okay, so they are taking the sample from the sea or the river or the lake, and they are trying to convert that wastewater into the drinkable water, which can be used any kind of household activities. Okay, so the coagulation can be there, flocculation can be there, sedimentation is there, solar desalination, filtration, disinfection is there, sludge drying is there, fluoridation is there, and pH correction is there. So basically, I want to focus on solar desalination. Okay, so under my guidance, students are working on the solar desalination. So this is the diagram of the solar desalination project. In this case, if we are having the wastewater available from the sea, we can put in any device or any kind of storage tank. By taking the radiation or the heat from the sunlight, it will be converted into the vapor form. That vapor form will be collected at the top of the instrument, and from small droplet of the water, it will be collected at the bottom again. Okay, so when it will be collected at the bottom, so here you can see the water has been converted. This is the wastewater in the blue color. This wastewater is converted into the vapor form. From the vapor form, it will be collected here in the fine droplets of water, and slowly down by down, it will be considered as a clean water. So here we are getting the clean water at the bottom. And by adding some additives, some minerals, and some carbohydrate, we can make that water as a pure drinkable water. Okay, furthermore, to improve the quality of water, we can use the sponge, which is a carbon coated sponge. Okay, that carbon coated sponge can absorb the carbon available in the sea water. It will also collect alcohol, ethanol, polyvinyl, and some kind of impurities available in the seawater. So by using the simple device, which is operated by using the only solar radiation, sunlight, we can use the any kind of seawater or the river water into the drinkable water. So this is how this kind of projects are works. And I am also supporting the school students to prepare the various kind of small models regarding the clean water. Okay, If I am talking about the India, so India have developed a program which is known as a National Rural Drinking Water Program. Okay, so the goal of that program is to provide every rural person with the safe water for drinking, cooking, and other domestic basic needs. The basic requirement should meet certain minimum water quantity standard. And the target of this National Rural Drinking Water Program is to cover all the quality affected and other habitation and household schools with the safe and adequate drinking water supply. So this is how we have to focus all the world, all the leaders, all the organization, educational institutes, industries, each and every sector in the world should engage themselves to make a small improvement of the 1% from their side to improve the quality of water so it can be drinkable, it can be available for all, whether they are the rich person or the poor person. Okay, so the children require 1.3 to 1.7 liter safe pure water per day. A man requires 3.7 liter pure water per day. A woman requires 2.7 liter. Pregnant woman may require 3 liter, and the other lactant woman will require 3.8%. These are the some requirement of the body, how our body will use the water which will be available in the body. These are the various parts of body they use the water. So the pure water is required for not only by us, but our body is also required the same water. Okay, so I am not wasting much more time and just giving insight about the sanitation also. These are the objectives we should have to cover according to the sustainable goal in the case of sanitation. Okay, so we have to provide the clean rural area in all the villages, all the cities. Okay, ecos and toilets for closing the population loop, rural sanitary pads, production centers, outlet for the sanitation apparatus, community sanitary complex for the land, people, and floating population. So by doing all these, clean water, save water, purification of the water, and the sanitation in each and every area of the world, we can achieve our sustainable goals. So this is all and from my side, and this one is the last image I want to share. Yes, we can have to put our umbrella in the reverse direction. Am I audible?
Oh, yes, you are.
Yes, this is the last image. We have to put our umbrella in the reverse direction so we can save the water.
Great.
This is the small and interesting message for any kind of child, younger or elder people. Thank you so much, Iiu. Thank you so much, Alka Mahajan.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that wonderful presentation. The solar desalination you were talking about, the carbon-coated sponge that you shared with us, and the fact that you are taking a lot of interest, because what happens is that learners learn best when the elders, the adults, do the same. So because they have to emulate us. So wonderful. And the total sanitation campaign that you're also carrying forth, I think that's a wonderful job towards this SDG goal. So great going, well done, bravo. Mr. Harshit, thank you for that. And now I'm going to move on to our next speaker. And our next speaker is coming all the way from Nigeria. He is Chris Wigglesworth, President, CEO, Chief Instructor, and a Virtue Conglomerate Institute, a phonological school online and offline, who travels across nations, Africa and Asia. He is also an apostle, President of Intercession Conference Ministry. He is the President of Virtue Conglomerate Limited and Virtue Conglomerate Task-Based Recruiter. He is an independent task-based recruiter as well. So, Mr. Chris Wigglesworth, the virtual stage beckons. May we have you on the virtual stage, and a big welcome and clap. Mr. Wigglesworth?
Hello.
Yes, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
A big welcome to you, Mr. Wigglesworth.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. And good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Kali. I won't speak on history. All right. But before then, I need to appreciate the co-founder, the co of IIU, that is Iiu-Isdgc. A big thanks to you for giving me this golden opportunity to hear from me on this topic. All right, and also my thanks goes to the core committee, the board members, the moderators, and also the participants. A big thanks to you guys. You're doing great, and IIU is doing very great for having us to come together as one body globally, all right, to educate as many that are not privileged to get the education via virtue, all right? So, so I would love to go straight to the topic of discussion for today without wasting our time. We're looking at clean water and sanitation today. Yes, clean water and sanitation. It is very important
That is always happening. Our Chris has problems with network.
Oh, there's some technical glitch at his end.
Yes, there, Alka and Nigeria always have problem with internet connection.
sanitation for a healthy living. All right, so
Mr. Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we really cannot hear you properly. Your words are all muffled up.
Mr. Chris, we will turn back on you again. We will try again at the end with you, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, now we have from Croatia, and I really hope that I'll get this right. Here goes. Iiu-Isdgc. I hope I got that right. My friend taught me how to say that, but I'm sure.
Alka, I will help you, Alka. I will help you. Now it's coming from Croatia. Željko Cvitković Jone, my colleague from work. Welcome, Željko Cvitković Jone.
Thank you, Nada, and thank you, Alka, for the kind words. Greetings to everyone from Croatia. Prize for organizing this great conference, Clean Water and Sanitation. And I would also like to thank Mr. Piyush Pandit and especially thank Ms. Nada Ratkovic for the invitation for today's conference. I will present today on topic of water memory and what does it tell us. Please, Nada, permission to share the screen.
Željko, you can share the screen.
Thanks. Nada, it's okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay, thanks. Water memory, what does it tell us? Water is one of the 5 elements with which man has been associated throughout history. Throughout history, the development and collapse of societies and civilization, water has been an essential resource for which conflicts have been waged countless times. For humans, water has always been a matter of existence. Water is the source of life. Water is the element with which everything begins and ends, and so does life. It is associated with conceptions and the prenatal age, and through this element we energetically inherit conditioning from parents and ancestors. The element of the water determines our constitution and appearance, health and vitality, and to a large extent also life experiences. It is also associated with old age and physical death itself. Water is the simplest compound of the 2 most reactive elements in the universe, the chemical compound of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Water is the most abundant substance in nature. About 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and so is the proportion of the water in the human body. The cycle of water circulation is nature has excited for billions of years, and all life on the Earth depends on it. All the water on our planet is in constant motion and always in a different state, liquid, gaseous, or solid. Without the water cycle, life on Earth would not be as we know it. Water is one of the most enigmatic compounds we know. Due to the existence of numerous anomalies, it is still the subject of intensive study. When scientists hypothesized the existence of memory in water, an incredible perspective opened up for humanity. It is assumption that the water molecules remember the particles they have been in contact with. Water memory tells us the water remembers any influence, has the ability to store and transmit information. Use any communication, whether interpersonal or other life forms, negative or positive, as well as any action with water and water would affect the functioning of our own organism, all the living beings and the ecosystems of which we are a part and in which we interfere. As head of the immunology laboratory of French National Institute for Medical Research in Paris, French scientist Jacques Benveniste conducted an experiment in 1983 whose result shocked the orthodox scientific world. Namely, Benveniste made an experiment by which he examined the basic principles of homeopathy. He dissolved the drug in water so that the presence of the drug could no longer be detected by clinical means, and then found that this solution had the same effect on patients as the undiluted drug. The test results were published in the British scientific journal Nature. The question is how to explain the miraculous properties of water in places like Lourdes, whose sources have healed thousands of incurable patients, and 65 of these healings have been recognized as a miracle by the Vatican itself. Such healings used by ordinary water are not found only in shrines. Legends about the source of youth are known from history, such as the Iroquois tribe in Florida, that Norwegian Jurkental Valley of Youth, but also the Hunza people in Pakistan mountains. In the laboratory of the Japanese researcher Masaru Emoto, water samples are investigated that are subject to various types of influences and then they are fixed by means of its fluid freezing with the help of a cryogenic freezer. In his experiment, he exposes water for a while and certain words, either spoken or written, with positive and 10 negative meanings: music, photographs, and even prayer. After freezing, certain crystals were obtained which were photographed under special conditions. Water simplest exposed to words, music, prayers of positive meanings result in crystals of regular structure, while those exposed to messages of negative contain gelated irregular crystals or amorphous piles. In many laboratories around the world, an experiment has been conducted several times that has always yielded the same result. In that experiment, water was poured from the same vessel into one showing the water vessel photographs with the other. Although she did not see the photographs, formed the same structure under the microscope as the first. Water has a photographic memory that operates even at a distance of 10,000 kilometers. Does this mean that there is a long-distance connection between people who are aquatic beings by structure? The same principle is known in quantum physics as the hologram of the universe, according to which every part of the universe has information about all the others, and the universe as a whole, because before the Big Bang we were all one. The German biophysicist Dr. Wolfgang Ludwig, by spectral analysis of water, from which all traces of a used pollution were chemically removed, found that some form of vibration left behind by the pollution remained in the same water. Even after distillation, these vibrations in the water were not lost. He concluded that it is possible that one of the causes of various diseases today is precisely the memory of water that can produce effects similar to the pollution itself. This is a very difficult period for our planet. We lost 40% of the greenery, half of the plankton in the ocean, and about 3 billion tons of ice, using the ocean level to rise by 8 millimeters. In the last 30 years, the destructive force of hurricanes has doubled. The number of natural disasters that a large scale is growing. By 2050, garbage in the ocean is thought to overwhelm fish, and over 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic waste are already in the world sea. This waste composes in the water and changes not only the quality of water, but also its memory. The oceans have a potential to nullify that memory because they have high salinity, but decreasing pollution significantly reduces its ability to clean itself and recycle waste. Therefore, the global problem is the use of the ocean, where it is necessary to pay full attention to sustainable use to not impair environmental health. Global water demand is projected to increase by more than 40% by 2050, and the last quarter of the world population will live in countries with chronic or frequent water shortage. Water shortage will affect a third of the world population by 2025. Most diseases used by the water indirectly related to what man does to water and land. The World Health Organization has released the latest data indicating that about 1.6 million people will lose their lives this year due to the consumption of polluted water. Polluted water kills 4,000 people a day worldwide. The data also reveal that as a result of the consumption of polluted water is not reserved only for the population of developing countries, but affects all countries regardless of the degree of well-being in them. We are all from the same vessel. We are part of the collective water, and that is who everyone's actions are important. What we do, think, create, affect us, others, and the entire planet. We are connected by the flow in the information, and water plays a key role in the mechanism of information exchange on our planet. In each of us lies a drop of pre-ocean water. Each of all our words is like a drop of water, a barrier to truth and a source of information. And that is why we need to give back to the universe with love and gratitude. We determine the path we will take in the future. Thank you for your attention, and I wish everyone a good water vibration.
That was wonderful, theatrical as well. Huh?
Bravo, bravo,
That was
Željko,
very
bravo.
good. I
Thanks,
love the
Malcolm.
different take that you gave on water, you know, the fact that water has a photographic memory, the fact that, you know, the pictures, everything was so meaningful and thought-provoking. It was totally different, you know, take on what we would normally do for the water thing. So it's very, very good. I mean, I enjoyed myself. It was almost divine as well when you're talking about the legend of youth, you know, water being the, you know, about youth and water. And so that was also wonderful. I mean, if we could have that kind, going back to history, fantastic, nice, and how powerful water is. So it makes it all the more worth the while that we learn to conserve it well. So that was very good. And wait, there was a phrase that we say in Croatian.
Yes.
Dobro došle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alka. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so
I
much.
must tell something about Željko, because Željko and I are every day together. We are working together, and this today is only one thing what we share. We have many projects, many ideas, and I said today it's only a little part of that, what Željko is doing and what we are doing together. Thank you, Željko, very much.
Thank you, thank you.
So let's move on to our next speaker. Another one from Croatia, and I think colleague as well. She is Zorica Hrgošić, if I got it right. She is a teacher of the economics group of subjects at the First School of Economics in Zagreb. And she's the author of textbooks, methodical manuals, and numerous digital content. And she teaches subject training and corporate social responsibility as well as a trainer. So may we have on this virtual platform, Zorica Hrgošić for all of you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm really honored to be here with you. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you, and especially my dear colleague Nalda Ratkovic, for being a part of organization team of such an important event. And I want to thank you and EU for this opportunity to talk about such an important theme. As you said, my name is Zorica Hrgošić, and I'm an economy teacher in First School of Economy in Zagreb. I teach subject practice firms and corporate social responsibility, and this is a really specific subject in which we talk a lot about SDGs. Today, I'm going to talk about SDG 6, and which goes to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. At first, when I was thinking about this SDG, I was, oh my God, what I'm going to talk about. This was this summer. And then I saw a lot of situations in Croatia, and I really knew it that this SDG was important for us. And in the next sentences, I will tell you why. In 2012, 2 billion people were lacked of drinking water. 3.6 million people are lacked safely managed. I'm sorry, my daughter is a little bit sick, so if you hear her, I'm really sorry. Were lacked of sanitation, and 2.3 billion people were lacked of basic hygiene. It's our obligation to solve these problems. It's not somebody else's obligation. We all can do something. So in 2012, in First School of Economy, we had a few projects about sustainable development, volunteer and knowledge, development of secondary schools in the sustainable development of local communities, sustainable and personal development in secondary schools. Sustainable development of society starts with young ones, and young people know how to do sustainable. In First School of Economy, we talk a lot about water, and this year we are starting with projects Water, What Can We Do? Now I will tell you why are we starting with this project. Croatia, this is not really a lot known, but we are on the very top of Europe by the availability and the richness of drinking water. According to Eurostat, Croatia has the highest per capita water supply in the European Union, which is in a long-term average really important. We are in the 40 richest countries in the world of water. But however, we have a lot of problem with a drainage system in the region, which is one of the most beautiful regions in Croatia, called Dalmatia. There is no sewage system, or there is partially. So wastewater finds its way through the car strokes. It finds its way to drinking water. Terrible pollution with both drinking water and the sea. This year, we could see yacht owners pulling their wastewaters in the sea or in the woods. Our authorities definitely have to apply the laws and sanctions on those who break them. And each of us must ask ourselves, what can we do for the next generation, and how can we save water for the next generation? I hope we will start with this project and give you some answers. Thank you, Nada, and thank you, EU, for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Zorica. Thank you for coming here today. I hope that this is not only the first time that you will join us in IIU, because we need people like you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, we will hear you again. You have one topic else to choose, one more SDG.
Yes. Yes, okay. I choose 7th SDG. Yes.
70. Great. So we will hear a little introduce Croatia. As Zorica said, Croatia is maybe for some people unknown country, but a really big country with many water, and we are not afraid about the water. That is our first, what we have, water, many lakes, many rivers, and a big Adriatic Sea. Thank you, Zorica, again. Alka, to you.
All right, thank you so much. Very good. And again, let me say that word, Dobro došle. I hope I got it. Dobro došle.
Hvala.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Dobro došle again for that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after our little interlude with our friends from Croatia, now let us move on and come to India, where we will be hearing the power thoughts of a very impressive leader, Dr. Raina Khatri Tandon. She is the CEO of Right to Rise and RKT Foundation, which is an ISO certified POSH_POXO organization where we do training, compliance, and auditing. She is an international mentor, a speaker, and a thought leader with 23 years of experience. Excellencies, please, the lovely, impressive leader, Dr. Raina Khatri. Welcome, Dr. Raina.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Nada. Thank you so much, Alka. I think you've been so very kind in introducing even the best speaker in the most honorable way. So I must first have a lot of gratitude and a great applaud and appreciation with the way you bringing in all the speakers and then sending them off, which great connect of Croatia to India and a lot more. I must say today, thanks, Charles. Thank you for that. Thank you, Geeta ji. Thank you, Alka, Nada, Snigdha, a lot of you who've shedded love before I could even start. So let's just look at how we can add value today. And let me tell you, I am here only because of one beautiful lady, and that's Nada. I won't have any flashy words, but I guess everybody knows that she's the woman behind the scene. For me, it was not about being on a poster or a flyer. For me, it was more about making the connect with her. And it really did bring back my memories of staying abroad, because I have stayed quite a lot of time in UK and Finland and in Germany. And finally, I got to meet another friend at Croatia, and that's Nada. So yes, thank you very much for honoring me and having that beautiful relationship. Today, a very beautiful goal, SDG 6. Though I'm not an expert on this goal, I speak a lot about sexual harassment, sexual abuse, justice, legality, and the other areas. Yet, with all the information that we've got from beautiful dignitaries here, I wish to present my viewpoint. A viewpoint about how life on this earth would not be beautiful without this beautiful elixir of life, and that's water. Water actually is a part of every element that we hold. And yes, if you look at this beautiful picture, what do you see? I guess I see more than the beauty in her eyes, the fun in her mood, the entire existence of ourself, that even our happiness depends most of the time with this one drop of water. And what do we do to protect it? Ideally, maybe not too much. We don't even give it a heed. So many times with the busy schedules that we have, we hardly enjoy the first drops of rain that fall on our feet. And also the lovely, beautiful early morning bliss that we found on the leaf or on the nature, that's maybe on our hands or even drops on our eyes or looking at the beautiful flowers. I want to bring a thought before I can show you the statistics, the information, the data that we're all looking at so far. And we've always been looking that SDG 6 is important. But why is it important is what we need to acquire. Because as much as we're looking at this enjoyable water, there's one more thing that we are forgetting about. If you look at this picture, yes, we have it bountiful, friends, but yet if the saddest story is that we still get to see these kind of figures. We still get to see a lot of us even not getting the last drop of water. And the intent of sharing this is because we need to focus on what we have and keep them really close to our heart and make the people realize that every drop that we have today has to be cherished. SDG 6 in India. As I am from India, I feel very proud to share some of the data. India has access to merely 4% of potable water. This potable or potable water that you say comes down from the wells, comes down from the Mother Earth, comes down from the ground, and feeds nearly only 16% of the world's population. It's estimated that the demand of clean water will be doubled only if we take care of it from today in the best of our ways in every home, causing the less scarcity that we are looking at, polluting and going through the strategic plans and practices, which we are looking at implementing by effective usage of water. Immobile places of water. Let us look at what are these immobile places? Streams, tanks, pipelines, generally contaminated water that we see in the convergence of urbanization. We like to explore and grow bigger, but in growing bigger, we forget that the greenery, the nature, the water, and the sanitization that we need to maintain, even at our homes, becomes essential part of our life and the well-being to our consumers. Also, irrigation. With India, it's very interesting for you to know all the people who are in the top tier cities are going back to agriculture. And why do they do that? Because they feel grounded to their earth and they feel that that is where they can emerge from, they have been grounded with. We have beautiful rivers like Ganges. I'm sure you've heard of the Amazon, but you must hear of the pure and the Namami Ganges. India has a very big river that is dealt with from its delta zone, and that is mainly the reason of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan that you keep hearing from Modi ji, and the National Rural Drinking Water Program that has hugely contributed to water sanitization and cleaning. Yes, various new missions pertaining to water conservation are being harvested and many more. But let me tell you one more thing, a beautiful, beautiful thing before you can go. I've created this model for you. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. After knowing so much about it, after knowing all the depth of what government has brought, and a little viewer, which I'm going to give you on SDG 6 by the United Nations, being a United Nations volunteer on Model United Nations and a Rex Karambir United Nations awardee in 2019, I was given this honor of presenting a paper, and which was well appreciated, and I was also applauded for it. It was mostly on gender equality. But here today, with the statistics that we see on clean water sanitization, 1.9 billion people have gained access to piped drinking water. And this is still not majorly occurring in zones of Asia, mostly in the zones of the United States of America and Europe. So we are still far away. Africa, Asia, and some of the zones of Australia do not have piped drinking water too much as what the other countries have at a larger scale. 1 out of every still lack clean drinking water today. That's more of the rural and the tier 1, tier 2 cities. And 2.4 billion still lack the access to a toilet. Unfortunately, with a lot of Bollywood movies and Hollywood movies still focusing on sanitary napkins and sanitization, we yet don't have a lot of toilets. That's the sad part of the story. And 2 million people are still under hygienic conditions, which are yet to be followed. So what do I suggest? I just suggest that you put this water into a clean, safe water zone. And if we can create an ecological way of how sanitization can happen from our homes by using a lot of green leafy vegetables, making manure, converting that manure into a process system through our funnels and getting clean drinking water well monitored by our agencies at smaller units, then yes, we can create a lot of awareness and be responsible equivalently and individually for this water. Hygiene education. We keep talking about a lot of new education policies which have been incorporated not only in India, but across the globe. I would urge that this becomes one of the lessons to be taken up almost every week in a classroom, spoken of how water and hygiene is equivalently important, friends. And we have amazing, beautiful leaders here into educational industry. I would love that each one of them feel equally importantly a part of this goal. As much as I find my connect as a mother, as a citizen, as a nation leader, as an edupreneur, I wish all of you the very best of holding hands in this venture and creating more sanitization. Thank you so much for honoring me and having me on this platform. Thank you very much, Nada, and thank you very much, Alka ji, the entire IIU University, the team leaders, Dr. Vishali Tripathi, Corina, all whom I can think of who have made it happen for me to be here on this platform. A lot of love, hugs, and lot of power to each
Dr.
one.
Raina, we will see you again. So no
Yes,
going.
I'm around. I'm
goodbye.
around to
No
hear all the
goodbye.
beautiful
No
people.
goodbye to the next
No goodbye.
event. Yes.
We are here with you. Totally, with all the beautiful people out here. Thank you very much for all your appreciations pouring in like raining water. I wish you all safety, good luck, happiness. Thank you, Alka ji, for being so kind for having me around.
Yeah, and wonderful inputs you shared. And I just love that drawing. And you're talking about that ecological system and input. I think that is wonderful. And we actually need to start taking action.
Yes.
But we need to be more proactive about it. I think
that's my gift. That's my gift. I will send it over to Nada, and Nada can get it printed for everybody who's out there.
It's very good.
Okay,
Very well done.
Yes,
very well thought of. So wonderful. Keep going, keep shining, and lots of love. And thank you for sharing such wonderful perspectives over here. It
My
was
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now maybe invite Mr. Chris Wigglesworth once again to the virtual stage. I hope your connection is better now and you will be able to present. Mr. Chris, are you there? Mr. Chris?
He is here, but I don't know.
Then maybe he still has a bad connection.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. We were thinking that if you could present, because the other time there was a problem, so maybe it's better now. Yes. I still think there's a problem. Nada, I think there's a problem. We should.
Yes, he has a problem, but
Oh,
he
yeah,
really wants today to present. We put him today because he has a big desire to present. Yes.
Hello.
Nada, and Chris, try without a camera.
Chris, try without your camera, please. Don't turn on your camera.
Yes.
Chris, you know, I have one. You can make a short video, send it to me,
Hello?
and I will put it here. Okay, try.
Okay. No problem. I will do just that.
I think that we can't hear him, nothing. That.
Maybe he can try after the video presentation, Nada.
Yes, we can try after the video presentation.
Yeah, let's do it after the video. Let me just talk about the video and we can have it then. So, ladies and gentlemen, they say that leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. Mr. Piyush, the charming co-founder of International Internship University and the COO, he is a true leader who shows the way, but never stands back. He's altruistic, realistic, pragmatic, a visionary who is on a mission to provide lifelong learning opportunities for all. For all means for all people all over the globe. And he firmly believes that to strive, to seek, to find, and never to yield. And most important, Mr. Piyush Pandit is a human being extraordinary. So I would request all of you, let's watch this video together and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. So dear team, can we have the video, please?
Iiu-Isdgc Pandit was born on 27th July 1987 in Pratapgarh, Uttar Pradesh, in a middle-class family. Iiu-Isdgc Pandit is that name who is recognized by his multiple work genres: an international social activist, award-winning social worker, serial entrepreneur, and founder of SBP Global. He has determined his destiny by having trust in him and Almighty God. Iiu-Isdgc Pandit is a diligent and passionate social worker committed to serve the humanity. Iiu-Isdgc Pandit has played a crucial role in crafting a team of volunteers and achieved global recognition as head of Swarna Bharat Parivar Trust, which span across more than 50 countries. He granted several live interviews and press conferences on rural development, access to justice, and the right to equality. Iiu-Isdgc is youth leader with extensive social work experience, political activism, and stellar entrepreneurial achievements. When you think of social work and changing the world by improving human experiences, Iiu-Isdgc Pandit comes to mind. He is proactively mentoring other social activists to encourage social activism and entrepreneurship around the world. He is working fiercely towards achieving United Nations Sustainable Goals in India and over the globe. Under the flawless leadership of Iiu-Isdgc Pandit, Swarna Bharat Parivar Trust was established. The organization strives to place the humanity at forefront and bringing back the human warmth which has lost due to busy modern life. They are fighting to ensure ending poverty, unemployment, and making society better for all. Rural India has been a focal point of Iiu-Isdgc, which gave birth to Help India Help Foundation. The social work continues and the e-village was established in 2012 to reinforce India's roots in villages and villagers. At the crux of Iiu-Isdgc's work is the youth. He believes that youth empowerment is closely aligned with social service. Iiu-Isdgc is the CEO of Iiu-Isdgc Group. The organization covers several industries including renewable energy, logistics, real estate, and so on. Iiu-Isdgc Pandit has succeeded in scaling the growth of these organizations and his work has taken them to the multinational level. Iiu-Isdgc is able to form and sustain positive relationship with people. He has received a plethora of awards and recognitions in 2018 with India's Great Leader Award, India Star Book of Records in 2019, GTF World Summit Bangkok 2019, Volunteer Hero, Abad Samman Samaroh, Blood Donation Award, Environmental Sentinel Award, Yuva Gaurav Samman, and Literature Confluence Award. Iiu-Isdgc Pandit believes in the philosophy of growing together. His slogan is, Let's grow together and create tomorrow's entrepreneur. He has the vision to create a society that is based on freedom, equality, solidarity, diversity, and fairness.
Well, that was wonderful and amazing work Mr. Piyush Pandit is doing and has been doing, and he's continuing doing all that work. I mean, and it's a non-stop effort, 24/7. So marvelous and fantastic. And Nada, I think all the speakers are done with now.
Yes, all the speakers are done. We didn't have only one speaker because she has an emergency. So we come to the end, but we have a vote of thanks. Alka?
Yes. We have to invite Dr. Satnam. Is Dr. Satnam there?
Dr. Satnam was here whole time, but I don't see her now. Maybe she has a bad network. She was here, but not now.
So would you like to propose the vote of thanks? And then I'll end it up.
Okay. So, respected dignitaries, thank you. Thank you all in the name of our co-founders, Mr. Piyush Pandit, Mrs. Satnam, Mrs. Mona Alisha, Mr. Steven. Thank you in the name of our trustee, Mrs. Roshni Lal. Thanks to our great big team of our conference. Thanks to Dr. Prachi, Dr. Pratibha, Mrs. Kalyani, to me, to everybody who works hard every day, to Dr. Smidita, who works every day to make this event amazing. I think that today was our 7th day, but we are on the SDG number 6. Tomorrow are going on the number 7. I hope that all of you are today satisfied with our event. Maybe we don't make it interactive with the speakers because we have many speakers, but now if anybody wants to ask something, it is open is the stage, or can write in the chat, or can write in our groups, because we have many groups for participants, for speakers, for all who are attending this big conference. So Alka, over to you. Thank you. And I want also said that we are calling you all together to join us at the SDG 7. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dobrodošli.
Dobrodošli svi u Hrvatsku. Pa sad pokušajte me razumjeti.
Thank you, Alka.
Alka, my Croatia friends are so happy because you tell them dobrodošli.
Dobrodošli.
Dobrodošli. Charles, please remember dobrodošli. Next message, right?
I will never forget it because I have a very good teacher, you know, who taught me how to say it correctly. So with that, and these on this very loving note and very affectionate note, thank you, a big thank you to everybody. Merci, you know, arigato, muchas gracias, dobre došlo, you know, and dhanyavad. And thank you so much to everybody. Shukriya. Have a fantastic evening, day ahead, and we look forward to having you at ISDG number 7 tomorrow. And we look forward to hearing more perspectives, more viewpoints, more sharing, more interaction, and more energy, and more power, because the more we share ideas, the more empowered we get, the more, like we say, that life is an unending process of learning, and we can never say that we know enough, because though we may know a lot and maybe we are experts in our fields, but the fact is that when our friends start sharing, we start learning new things. So from every speaker today, I learned different things, and I'm sure each and every one present over here learned lots of new things. There were lots of takeaways. So once again, a big thank you, Dobrodosh, Nada, to all.
Okay, I just want, please, everybody to, I want to see the pictures, your profile, please, because everywhere is writing only the name. I want to make few photos now here. Please open your camera.
That was fantastic.
Please, Sunita, Miss Sunita, Daniela, Yasenka, Karshios,
Great job he's doing.
Yes, we need to see you all here.
Come on, everyone. Let's have a picture together.
Sudha, Dr. Seema, Sarita, where are you?
Where are you, Ida? I don't see you.
I don't see you. Yes.
Nada, I'm very much here. Dr. Seema Bhushan.
Yes, you are Dr. Seema, but no picture. No, I don't see you.
I am sitting with my mother-in-law who is not well, but I am very much in the session.
All right.
I know you are.
I can show you my face, which is not at all.
No, Dr. Seema,
Here I am. Here I
that
am.
is not necessary.
Here I am.
I only want to have beautiful pictures.
Hello.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
here.
okay. All right.
There's one screen. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
We do picture for you.
Thank you, Dr. Seema.